Welcome back, everybody. This is Devin with MDM Studios. I am your host, the aforementioned Devin, and today we are going to do my first reaction video, both on the channel and just ever in general. Unless I guess you count reaction videos, me reacting to videos on my drive, which, I mean, then maybe I've done millions of reactions to. I don't know. Anyways, today we are going to be reacting to a channel that I have come across recently called North Star Radio. Actually really appreciate the channel, even though I will say I personally, just kind of get this out of the way, I don't agree with a lot of the views in the video. I do appreciate the more critical thinking aspect that the channel takes to their breakdowns on a lot of stuff. So I've watched a bunch of their videos, and I came across this one, started it, and now I'm more interested. So full disclosure, I did start the video. I didn't make it all the way through to the end of the video. So because I decided this might actually be kind of fun to do a reaction video too. There's a lot of different stuff going on here. So we are going to be reacting to how Jubilee is normalizing the far left, feat Charlie Kirk and Ben Shapiro. So let's strap in, and we're going to go ahead and get cracking on this. All right, welcome back. I apologize for the absolute garbage tier video quality that I have going right now. This is only episode 2, so I am still learning a lot when it comes to recording, video editing, all that jazz. So big apology, biggest apology for that, because yeah, I can tell it looks pretty rough. So yeah, if anybody has any good recommendations in the comments for the best way to do these kind of overlay recordings like this in a way that you don't have to use your webcam, please let me know. I'll send you $1,000 as soon as I make $1,000. Okay, so here we go. We are back to North Star Radio. So I'll go ahead and get rolling after 2 hours now of trying to troubleshoot this stuff. So cheers.
Everything said in this video is simply an opinion. This video is for educational purposes only. I am not associated with Jubilee Media, and everything said in this video is speculation based on my own observations. Jubilee is becoming increasingly irresponsible with their platform, and are secretly sidestepping their original goals as a company by moving ever closer to and making concessions with the far right.
The man seeking to challenge Democratic incumbent Maxine Waters is getting a high-profile, if not controversial, endorsement. The Daily Breeze reports Navarro finished probation this week after being convicted of illegally attaching an electronic tracking device.
Also applies to this guy, ironically.
He says he feared that someone would steal the car.
So a couple things right off the bat here that I just want to address. So yes, I have watched a little bit of this video. And then I stopped it so that I could come back and do a reaction video to it. So I've seen a little bit. And I know a lot of people like to go in totally like blind, a virgin view. So they can have just kind of like the true guttural reaction. So I don't really have that opportunity on the full video here. So I might bounce around a little bit in it too, just because I would ultimately encourage you to go watch this video if you haven't already. Excellent production quality, and even though I personally disagree with a lot of the views in this video, or what I've seen so far. I do think it's good to have open conversation about differing opinions. So yeah, definitely go check out the video. And like I said, I might bounce around a little bit, um, just so, and we won't watch the full video because I want his channel to get full credit for what he's doing. So even though I disagree, I still want him to get paid. So here we go.
A few months ago, I investigated Jubilee Media, exposing their sheer lack of clarity when platforming dangerous and hateful voices on their channel. And ever since I posted that original video, Jubilee has become even more negligent in their production.
So I do want to scratch my ear first, but a couple of thoughts on platforming dangerous speech. I'm just going to kind of get out of the way for myself here right at the beginning. While I understand maybe the hesitation with having certain people on your show that would maybe say something out. And I do say should because they don't always win out. But historically, when we have seen suppression of particular ideologies, suppression of particular beliefs, you see a lot of problems arise there. I mean, you don't even have to go very far back into history to see that. We saw the suppression of one particular kind of view over COVID. People that were saying like, maybe we have a different opinion on this, or, maybe we should wait to look into this. And those people just got shut down. And now what we're seeing, especially under Trump right now, in this current administration, now we're starting to see a backlash towards that. So all those people who were shut down, I mean, now they're coming back with a vengeance, and making a lot of big changes. So yeah, definitely a free speech absolutist. I'm gonna say, even if the people have horrible things to say, let their speech speak for itself. Right? Let them, dig their own grave. And yeah, that's just kind of where I stand on that. I do find it absolutely
two
hilarious.
Videos that quite perfectly illustrate my frustrations with Jubilee
he uses
Media.
For like,
have they officially shown their true
casual
colors?
Viewer,
because even their most casual viewers are becoming
who,
increasingly disturbed by their actions.
I mean,
wait, isn't she like
they're going to go on to be like, yo, like this person's literally a conservative, like a professional conservative. But it's like, Hassan, you're literally a professional liberal. You're a professional leftist. So yeah, it does strike me as kind of funny. And now for those who, I don't know, I'm sure there's got to be somebody out there who doesn't know who Jubilee Media is, but if you're,
isn't she literally a
you happen to stumble across my video and
like
seen
that's
a
like a
Jubilee
professional
video, welcome to the internet.
Why is
There's a lot of stuff happening
like
here,
this, bro? Jubilee
but
will be like, here's some
so
random,
Jubilee
like, liberal guy
tends to host, and he may talk about this in later on in the video, but Jubilee tends to host these kind of panel discussions, group discussions on different things. Generally a lot of cultural stuff. So it'll be like woke Christianity versus traditional Christianity, porn stars versus trad wives, stuff like that. It's very like this side versus that side, and let's find somewhere in the middle where we kind of agree on different things. And honestly, it kind of reminds me like a higher quality, a little bit better production of maybe depends on their conversation, but maybe a little bit better overall version of the Change My Mind episodes that Steven Crowder used to do. So it's just got a little bit more production going on, but that's like literally all, or I shouldn't say literally all Jubilee does. That's most of what Jubilee does. So go ahead and keep going. A straight up conservative.
Who's like on social media, but like not a commentator or anything. Up next is a straight up conservative.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by viewers like you. Become a member today and unlock exclusive content at patreon.com/NorthstarRadio. This is Jason Y. Lee, the original founder and current CEO of Jubilee Media. Jason is an interesting character, and we'll talk a bit more about him later in this video. But first,
Okay, so I just paused the recording there for a minute. I kind of wanted to skip ahead. He kind of explains a little bit about
first one conservative,
the
but was
founder
quickly
of,
changed to 25 liberal college students. Nice save, Jubilee.
And so
But they didn't
now
just choose
we're
to
skipping
work
ahead a
with
little
some
bit to where he
random
starts to make
conservative.
some of the more meatier points
No.
here. So I'm going to just go ahead and hit play,
Jubilee Media
and we'll go from
decided
there.
to team up with Nazi sympathizer Charlie Kirk, founder of Toilet Paper USA.
First off, I do think it's hilarious that he calls it Toilet Paper USA. Although I'm not aware of any Nazi sympathizing from Charlie Kirk. I'd have to do some fact checking on that to find out. So maybe later on I'll come back and make an edit to this video.
If you aren't familiar with Charlie
my
Kirk,
knowledge,
he is an awful
I mean,
human
unless
being.
he's drawing the connection between
And not just any awful human
Trump
being, he is an awful
as a
human
Nazi
being,
and
professional,
Charlie Kirk,
who is putting tens of millions of dollars
which
towards the
doesn't
promotion
work,
of right-wing
but
ideology
okay.
and Donald Trump's 2024 presidential campaign. I wonder where he's getting all that money. Coke.
I do find it kind of funny that we're going to pick on Charlie Kirk and Turning Point for having lots of money and throwing lots of money at their specific agenda and political party. And it's like, oh no, that's so bad. But it's like, it's all Al Jazeera's been doing. And I mean, here recording this now in 2025, I think he just made a comment to the 2024 election. So now we know that AP was getting like, what was it, $81 million to write articles, like basically for the government, like pro-government. You're like, that's the least free press we could have. So I do find it is rather comical
patriots
that
that
we're
raised
going
in
to be
Texas,
like
and I
picking
love
on,
Texas, that have been waiting and are willing for this
his
moment.
$100 million
Deputize a
when there's
citizen
like
force, put them on the border, give them
hundreds of
handcuffs.
millions, if not
Get it
billions
done.
of
Sure, that's
dollars
dramatic. You know, it's
in
dramatic, the
liberal
invasion
media.
of the country.
So,
We're going to talk more about that. We're
but
going to
again,
talk
whatever
about how the other side has openly admitted that this is about diminishing and decreasing white demographics in America. We're going to say
Texas.
that part out loud.
20% of all Americans. You take a random sampling size at a sports game or in a city, and 1 out of 5 will be here illegally. Now, what is the reason for that? Part of it is because of political power. Part of it is because they want demographics that fit their narrative. We're not allowed to say this out loud. When we say it out loud, we get called all these terrible names that we're engaging in replacement theory. I don't even know what that is.
Before we start this video, we just want to acknowledge that this is obviously a very sensitive topic.
A throbbing middle finger to God is the transgender thing happening in America right now.
This is also a very real and current conversation that we're seeing happen within our communities and all around the country.
Remember, the T in LGBT stands for totalitarianism and tyranny.
We must ban trans-affirming care the entire country. Donald Trump needs to run on this issue. It is a 60, 70, 80% issue. He's already kind of teased this out. Something that I'm going to pitch his team. I want to try to get Donald Trump in a room for 1 hour. I'll put it together. We'll pay for it. And just for 1 hour, I think Donald Trump really needs to get to understand how graphic this is. And I think he gets it. But many adults, parents I talk to, they say, what do you mean? You mean like, you know, they're dressing differently? They're getting mastectomies.
Not necessarily that we can.
Now, I do find that, I mean, again, kind of an interesting spot for the video to highlight from him and be like, oh, Charlie Kirk, you know, he's saying all these radical things that are like aren't true or are, you know, super racist or sexist or homophobic or whatever. But like in that last clip, it's, well, yeah, there's literally been school districts that have pushed the trans ideology. So this is anecdotal. So, I mean, take that for what it is. But in Washington State, where I'm from originally, we had friends, I say we, my family, we had friends that their child was transitioning from male to female at like the age of like 9. Like they were putting them on puberty blockers and all that kind of stuff. They were starting to get ready and go through the gender transition for like their 9-year-old. And I mean, you're just talking like, because the kid was like, well, you know, I like more feminine things. That doesn't mean that your child is a different gender, biologically a different gender. It just means that they're as a male child, they're just a little bit more effeminate. Like that doesn't mean we got to go chop their nuts off and pump them full of estrogen. And I mean, you know, I think we're definitely seeing the cultural shift away from a lot of the trans, especially transing children ideology. And now I have a lot of, I'm going to say, religious takes on the transgenderism, and maybe I'll do a deep dive into that another time when I have more time and am better prepared and get my freaking camera to work. But on the most simple level, I would say my hot take on the trans movement is transing kids bad. Once you're an adult, do whatever you want. There's more nuance to it than that, but like ultimately, I would say like when kids are young, like you gotta let them just, you know, just be kids. I mean, my son plays with Barbies with my daughter, and my daughter goes and plays with our dump trucks and fights with swords, and that doesn't mean that they were born the wrong gender. It just means that they were kids. Like, let's let kids be kids.
But to
So
understand why,
I do find it weird that he's trying
Cancer of
to
transgenderism,
in that
which
last
is from
clip.
the pit of hell, spreads as a
It
virus
makes it sound like
throughout our nation and our land.
what Charlie
largely
Kirk is
because
saying is
pastors
really
and
absurd, but
Christians
it really
have been
is
afraid
happening.
to correct
So,
error with truth or contest in the public arena.
They platformed a biological male who won a national championship and then was allowed in incredibly disturbing detail to be around you and your fellow competitors. And again, I blame the decline of American men. Someone should have just took care of it the way we used to take care of things in the 1950s or 60s. If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
We want to encourage you to see each other's humanity and feel more empathy.
Allegedly, Haitians are going around and taking people's pets and eating them. The duck pond in a local park is being picked clean.
good old DEI shaming there. So again, this claim right here, and I know North Star is positioning it like it didn't really happen, but there were police reports and people in Michigan and Wisconsin that were reporting the Haitians that were actually like eating animals and ducks and like local pets and stuff like that. So, again, there's news articles out there about that, and not the sensationalized ones where it's like, oh, like so and so wrote this crazy op-ed and they took a picture, but it was like really the picture came from like a completely different country. It was like, no, that stuff. And I will say this in regards to the news cycle, especially now with Twitter being, or I guess X now as it's called, since Elon has taken it over, and we can kind of, it's like TikTok in a lot of ways where we can just get news and things that are happening around the world like super fast. I do think it's making it harder for legacy media and channels like this to really keep making the claims that they are.
Out of my country. Send them home. This transcends race. This transcends income. I want my country back. I don't want America to become Honduras.
In the black community, it is acceptable for a man to stay an infant and impregnate a woman and abandon that woman. That's a cultural problem in the black community. There's entire rap genres built around that.
If I'm dealing with somebody in customer service who's a moronic black woman, I wonder, is she there because of her
Decreasing white demographics in America. We're going to say that part out.
Using that word as a pejorative and putting them up against someone who professionally pushes dangerous ideas, ultimately setting these kids up for failure and making Charlie Kirk's opinions appear sound. Something that is incredibly dangerous when what's being debated is the existence of entire groups of people. Like trans women.
Do you think men can give birth?
I think that
Yes or no question.
I think that a person who is assigned male at birth, I don't think they can give
Assigned
birth.
male at birth, so people are not male at birth?
I think that a person.
See, your evidence that college is a scam, my friend.
So what do you say in some cases women with IUDs are murderers?
Of course not, they're not murderers. We
So
do
what's
not
the
know-
difference between an IUD killing a conceived zygote
Because-
and like a mother going to Planned Parenthood and killing the fetus in her womb?
That was actually the best point somebody made.
It's not about the cells.
No,
It's not about. No, I'm
I know,
speaking. No, I'm speaking. No, I'm
we're both
speaking. No,
clumps of
I'm
cells,
speaking. No,
okay?
I'm speaking. No, I'm speaking.
Wanna say it one more time?
No, I'm speaking.
The overall framing of this video is just gross. Because not only is Jubilee teaming up with Charlie Kirk, but in a strange way are making Charlie Kirk out to be the smart guy in the room, against all these dumb, woke college students.
Hello, everyone. I am Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA, and I am surrounded by 20 woke college kids.
And the comment section is proof of the right-wing audience Jubilee is attracting with this video.
The brunette with jeans and white shirt was the stupidest one of them all. She never shuts up. She will either never be married or be divorced after her husband realizes her mouth never shuts up. She makes no points and is so rude. This will be on here forever for all her
Can 25 woke college students outsmart one conservative? From Jason Wiley's perspective, he's doing an act of good. I assume he sees Charlie Kirk as somewhat of a spokesperson for the right-wing perspective, someone who can speak on these beliefs in an eloquent manner, and by having him go up against 25 college students, some of his more iffy claims may be put into question. But when you're bringing the left-wing and right-wing perspective together to discuss their difference in opinion in order to achieve some sort of mutual understanding, it's important that you actually know what it means to be left-wing. Jason, liberals are not on the left wing, and the Democratic Party is certainly not. In American politics, the Democratic Party is associated with some sort of left-wing concept. But if you move the party to anywhere in Europe and much of the world, the American Democratic Party would be seen as right-wing.
The expansion of Israel and its proxies is an absolute fundamental necessity for the United States to have the steady leadership there.
The bill I'm about to sign ends a difficult rail dispute and helps our nation avoid what, without a doubt, would have been an economic catastrophe at a very bad time. I know this bill doesn't have paid sick leave that these rail workers and, frankly, every worker in America deserves.
Which foreign country do you consider to be our greatest adversary?
I think there's an obvious one in mind, which is Iran. These men and women who work there and at other places along our southern border help keep our nation secure. And they need more resources to do their jobs. The United States Congress, including some of the most conservative members of the United States Senate, came up with a border security bill which I supported. That bill would have put 1,500 more border agents on the border to help those folks who are working there right now overtime trying to do their job. It would have allowed us to stem the flow of fentanyl coming into the United States.
Jason, the political spectrum is not based on feeling. Are you sensitive or are you edgy? No. The political spectrum is quite simple. When you break it down into two ideologies, the right wing is capitalism, and the left wing is socialism. So going back to the original mission, create experiences to promote understanding and create human connection. That would be great. But you're not really doing that, and you're really not even coming close. Time and time again, Jubilee will invite on someone with violent right-wing opinions, more often than not someone who gets paid to spread these violent right-wing opinions. And on the opposing side, the person who Jubilee believes to have the opposite opinion will often be a liberal. I mean, it's right there in the title. And the conversation typically goes something like this.
I think immigrants are not human and don't deserve to live here.
I don't like immigrants either, and I don't want them here. But you don't have to be so mean about it.
I think Arabs are not human and don't deserve to be alive.
Actually, I think Arabs are human and deserve life, but we need to teach them Western values for the protection of democracy. And in order to achieve that, we need to bomb them.
I think homeless people aren't human and don't deserve to be alive.
Actually, I think homeless people are human and deserve to live a life free of misery. But they're dirty and ruin my neighborhood, so we should destroy their makeshift home and tell them to move down the street a few blocks.
When you come to some sort of understanding, some sort of middle ground between these two right-wing perspectives, nothing is achieved. Frankly, you end up moving the goalposts to the point where what was originally understood as the middle ground, the centrist opinion, is now on the right. This has been happening in American politics for a while now. The Republican Party of years past, based on their policies and values, would today be labeled as communist by your average Republican. What Jubilee is doing and has been doing for a half-decade at this point is not only negligent and irresponsible, it's dangerous. Jubilee is not only moving the goalpost and shutting down real political discussion, but time and time again, they're making these cultural issues the focus of the conversation. But at the end of the day, these cultural debates are kinda pointless. Most people don't give a shit about what trans people choose to do with their lives, or how long it takes a fetus to grow fingernails. They care about their material condition, what they're doing with their life, their prospects, their achievements. If Jubilee actually had normal conversations between average conservatives and average progressives, you'd find far more similarities than differences.